All right, good evening. Welcome to the Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Also streaming from the KCAA Radio.com website and nbrradio.us. We got to bless the show before we get started. Let's go. When I was in my mother's womb, I had a calling on my life to do something in the glory of God and marry it like a wife. Commit myself to his word and never be led astray. And when it's all over, when he comes, I'll be glad to see that day in the morning time. All right, good evening. Welcome to the Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Again, streaming at KCAA Radio.com website, the station that leaves no listener behind. And if you're in your car and you got to get out of it, grab your device, type in KCAA Radio, click listen live or watch live, or go download the app. That's right. We actually have an app that you can download and you can listen to us from your device and all the other talk shows here throughout the week. I want to say Monday through Monday because there's a show every day and most times of the night. So find things that you listen to. You can find them here on KCA Radio. Also, you can catch me on Wednesdays on the Military Broadcast Radio Network. That's right, MBR Radio. There's another version of the Farron Dozier Show where we do more of a military type of talk show, my Trench Talk segment. We do that over there. And just want to appreciate you for listening in. We are, again, if you're catching this for the first time this month, we used to be on Sunday nights at 8 p.m., but we moved back to our original show. I actually started here at 6 p.m. Tuesdays in 2001, and then was able to go and do some other things on the other couple different dates and times, and then ended up on Sunday night at 8 p.m., and then have an opportunity to come back this season for Tuesdays at 6 p.m. So I'm back at my regular time, just having a good time, just here to share some conversations with you. We are a variety show, so we talk about everything under the sun, military life, community outreach, veterans, chronic illnesses, music, talk, your life, play a little bit of music, all of that. So whatever you're interested in and you want to be a guest, you can actually hit me up at Farron Dozier on all your social media platforms, farrond.com, and you can hit me up and then we'll have a conversation. And maybe you could be here on the deck next to me having a conversation. I am not by myself today. I have an in-studio guest, and I also have a guest on the call-in line. And so my guest today, please introduce yourself to the listener.
Hello, I'm Joseph Cabrera. My friends call me Joe, and I'm proud to be here. And a salute to all the armed forces, servicemen and women around the world. We salute you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. So he's going to be here. He's going to share his life and what he's up to today. We've had some talks that led up to this conversation here, so we're going to definitely have some dialogue that you may be interested in to listen to. But before, I want to shout out to my, I am the actual co-owner of your Inland Empire Hounds, the professional ABA basketball team. Our season is almost over. We got 2 more home games, so you can go to iahounds.com. We actually drove to Las Vegas on Sunday morning at 8, and unfortunately, the gym was not available, double booked, actually triple booked, and so we were not able to play our game. Unfortunately, the children had the gym, and so that was a 3.5-hour trip up and a 3.5-hour trip back. Wanting to get that game in, but we did get the W, unfortunately, from a forfeit, so we take that. Right now we are 10-4 with a couple more games left. February 28th, we play at home in the Norton Gym, the Antelope Valley Bulls, and then the Las Vegas Royals are coming to us for our last home game on March 1st. So if you'd like to come out, we're going to offer those last 2 games as free entry. So if you would like to be a part of that, you can go to the website and download your free ticket for the 28th of February for the Inland Empire Hounds versus the Antelope Valley Bulls, which is, we were supposed to play them in November at their home, but they had some gym issues. I don't know this, so we're gonna work that. Probably get a W. Unfortunately, get a W for them for no showing and having their gym issues. So they'll all balance out, but they're coming to us for our home game. And just shouts out to my team. We have done a lot of just growth and development. It is my basketball ministry. So it's definitely more than just basketball. The reason why we picked up those territories is to develop men, right? And we're going to have some of that conversation tonight, as far as the world, how the world talks about us as men and what it's supposed to look like versus what us as men actually deal with in our own perception and perspective. And so, just having these basketball players, I can relate to them. I still have my basketball identity that's trapped in this in this basketball team. And so I think I was more devastated that they didn't play because I wanted to see them play. And they were like, cool, all right, let's go back home. I get to be home by then. I'm like, man, I'm like upset. So
Sounds like you need more gyms.
yeah, it's something, I love the ABA platform, but oh my gosh. So yeah, we understand that identity crisis that men deal with, if we tell the truth, that's the ministry that I want to be a part of and help these gentlemen find out what's next. They've been playing basketball most of their life. When that uniform is done, what's next? That's the mental health aspect of that you do work with as well. It's like, for me, my identity was trapped in that uniform and that rank. And it was like, when that was over, I didn't know who I was.
Sure.
And so what's next is one of the conversations that we have. And so just working with these players, just listening to them, giving them some guidance, just sharing information, resources, and helping them figure out if you're done playing ball, like, do you want to coach? What's next? Let's take our information, our knowledge, our curriculums, our conversations, and go back to the next generation of basketball, those children, and help them figure out all the stuff that you saw that worked for you or didn't work. Let's help make those corrections.
By all means.
Right? So that's my why for the basketball team. And so I'm very appreciative that I get to do that on so many levels. When you hear about men and other mental, just the stuff that goes with this, but not even put the mental health in it yet, just for yourself, just being what it is to be a man, what comes to mind for you first off?
Sure. I like a saying by C.S. Lewis. He said, pride is a human diabolical attribute that leads to every other kind of sin. And so that pride inside of men, especially the ego, right? The male ego is a fragile thing. It can be hurt and, as we were talking earlier, be a lifelong wound that unfortunately some never manage to get past.
Yeah, and like I said, that's the work that I had. I mean, that's how I got to be in front of you on this radio, because I had to go back and at 40 years old, be willing to look at my life, because it was like, it's over. Right. And there was, I want to say, I was thinking about it the other night, that my spirit was like, there's got to be something better. Like I heard this voice in my head saying, there's got to be something better than this. And it wasn't what I was doing, it was how I was living. Right. And so when I heard that, like I observed that in my mind, I'm like, yeah, what? Like, there's got to be. And then, I believe that those were prayers being answered, because I know my parents stood in the gap for me. And so God allowed me to find some education, some personal development stuff that put me back on path. And so
Absolutely.
It's been a great, as I shared with you, it's been a great, just the last 16 years of being able to unravel all those corrupted perceptions that I had from a 2-year-old child. Like you said, this could be lifelong.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of the prophet Isaiah in chapter 6. He says that the Lord said, whom shall we send and who will go for us? And of course, Isaiah said, here, my Lord, send me. And so we have to realize, obviously, that basketball's great and football's great and, running for office is great. But at the end of the day, what is your purpose? What are you driven by as a God-created being to accomplish in this life? As you know, I'm very tall, and I like the saying, men's greatness is not measured in feet or inches, but what he's accomplished in life. And what you accomplish for the Lord is obviously even more important, because, as we say, a treasure that will send ahead of us, right?
Yeah, I'm
like
learning
your papa
that.
did.
Yeah, I'm definitely learning that, and that was one of the ways that as I got back into church is like, who is Farron without the sergeant first class retired rank? Who is Farron, not the dad? Who is Farron, the broadcaster, without those labels, without those, like, who am I when I just show up? And God allowed me to take me through those layers and peel those off, and who I am is that others see their greatness through my self-expression. And find peace in their language through their conversation. And that's who I get to be without all the titles. And so it's just a lot of times we don't realize that, we look at life as a description versus what's so, and how we talk about life versus how we talk from life could be a trap, how we describe it.
Right.
And I realized I'd lived life trying to describe it in words that wasn't really effective. So how I talked about my life was disempowering.
Right.
It was a trap.
Right. I like that you put on the flyer. Who is Joseph Cabrera? Take it back a little bit.
Yeah.
And without boring you too much, I'm like a lot of the servicemen out there, from the wrong side of the tracks. I wasn't supposed to cross those tracks. And I don't mind saying, having lived through life and all the struggles, schooling, bullying, everything else in school with one arm behind my back, I may or may have not told you, but I'm neurodivergent, right? Which means that I have problems with recalling information. And unfortunately, it wasn't until I was entering my master's program that I realized this. I was like, well, geez, no wonder I struggled so much.
Right?
I could have done this so much easier. That and the other arm behind my back of being, the brown guy from the wrong side of the tracks. Nobody expects you to really do anything.
Right.
And I'm happy to say I proved a lot of them wrong. I fought the good fight with both arms behind my back, and by the grace of God, I've had a few W's.
Now, I want you to elaborate that.
Sure.
When you describe it as having your arms behind your back, what does that look like?
Sure.
Yeah, what does that look like?
Sure, and we see it in our nation, unfortunately, these days, the division. Growing up, I had a pretty normal childhood outside of my home. I have friends that are white, they're, all colors, all races, and everybody was chill. It wasn't a problem at all. At some point, that changed. But I experienced those things, and, they tend to skew you,
Of course.
Have an impact on you. But geez, I remember waking up in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, and the gang members that lived across the street running through the middle of our house, the police after him, and my dad, who's 5'0", chasing him with his .38, both. So this is what I had to, contend with. Fortunately, like you, I found sports. I love soccer, basketball, baseball, and so that was able to focus me. Well, you can't compete unless you get the grade, right? So that was a bit of a motivator for me. Right. I'm not sure if that answers your question.
It does, because at the end of the day, at the core of what we talk about here around men and women, you're not excluded, but I'm not a woman. I do have daughters, but I can relate, and I believe that when I discovered that men and women aren't different, we just respond to life differently. But we're not. We have the same concerns, the same worries, probably much the same thoughts, but we respond to them differently. So what I see is that at the end of the day, at the core of it is the sense of belonging.
Right.
And that's, to me, the world is at this space that we have so many opinions about people that's what gets in the way of us connecting to one another. As soon as I label you as Hispanic or Latin or even wearing glasses,
that's right.
Then my mind is going to talk to you how people talk about glasses. And then so we don't realize that as a soldier, I was trained to objectify another human being into a terrorist and then kill terrorists. And I trained for 24 years to kill terrorists. Right. But that's a person. But we use that in our conversations toward one another. Again, from race to wherever your background is, from whatever, however you look, we label one another. And for me, that desensitizes us over time, that you're not even a person to me first.
That's right.
I'm a suspect to the police officer.
Yeah, you're a suspect.
I'm not Farron, right? And so those labels, yes, we need those labels to survive. But like the word says, when it comes up against another human being, then that's where it gets kind of muddy, and we start to judge one another. Right. And those labels. And then I talk to you again, like I told my other guests, like a chair. But you're a human. You can learn. You can change your mind. Your brain is malleable. But if I talk to you from the label or description, then you have no other way to show up for me. And I believe that that's at the core of our society for the issues that we deal with as a people.
Part of the healing for me, and I hope some of our vets can take this to heart was, having that sense of I'm no good and, I'm not as good as anybody else. And, it wasn't until I got into the church and reading the passage, and I'm horrible with addresses, so forgive me.
You're good.
But the Lord says that you are God's handiwork, his poem, and I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. You're his greatest creation, and we know that God doesn't make junk.
Yeah. It's our soul, it's our mind, will, and emotions that where all that information gets corrupted. But because I learned our brain is perception patterns, memory patterns, and action patterns, and some of that information that we download through life is just missing information or corrupted information, and we swear we can remember everything, but of course we can't.
That's right.
And then we think that that's the truth. And I tell parents when we have these conversations, by you not talking to that child, and you say, the child asks you a question, and you say, I don't have time right now, go sit down, or because I said so, then what is that child's mind going to do? I'm going to go upstairs, make up my own story. Now my mind gives me what it means, and now it's different from what you could have told me. So now my view is my view. And then you want to tell me what your view, no. And those are the emotional, for me, being an emotional child, is those are emotional fractures.
I think the good news there is we can rewire our brain.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Whatever goes in, your eyes,
yes.
goes down to your heart, and eventually makes its way up its mind, to your mind and out your mouth. Absolutely. I practice meditation like you do, whatever that looks like, either in the Bible or, I look at other sources. It's okay. I look for truth wherever it is, and you never know where you're going to find a piece of wisdom that is going to speak to you. Recently, I came across a piece by Confucius, and he said there are two things that never change in the world: wise men and stupid men. Oh, geez, I want to be in that first category.
I think the stupid men can change too, as we said.
With the Lord's help.
With the Lord's help, we can grow, we can change, we can develop as people, and I believe that is real life. So I got my first caller. We're going to talk to Bill. Bill, and his organization called Hidden Pioneers. So I've been blessed to work with Bill over the last since 2017 or so, and he does great work in the community, from STEM projects to working with the schools, and just again, what we're talking about is having the children realize that there are more jobs available than just being a basketball player or a drug dealer or a rapper or even a law enforcement, or there's so many jobs available out there that you can have. But again, I tell Bill, what happens when that child grows up in an environment that says you can't do that? So that child hears our presentation, you could get a job at NASA, you can have your own company, whatever. And that child's like, yeah, it sounds good for him, but not for me.
Right.
And then they go home and then they feel stuck or trapped in their environment. Defeated, right. No, it's like, so no, these are conversations. So, Bill, are you there?
Oh, yeah.
How you doing, man?
Hi, Bill.
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I heard some good things, man, so I'm ready to just jump in when you guys are.
Yeah, man. So do me a favor, Bill. Introduce yourself, man. You're not a stranger here. Let them know who you are, and then we'll knock this conversation out.
Yeah, so the audience, I'm Bill Montgomery, but the high school students gave me a nickname of CSI Bill because it stands for Common Sense Intelligence.
I like it.
And I got that from my dad, and me and Farron, we spent a lot of time talking about, how you brought up, and my dad used to, if he would say, use your common sense, boy, use your common sense. And when I didn't use my common sense, it wasn't, okay, time out, I'm going to take your pocket, your cell phone. It will smack me upside the head, and then the sense will come right back in. True story. And then I have four sisters, and I'm the youngest boy and the only boy, so they would do the same thing. Yeah. So I grew up common sense, and so I would always say it. Went to the military. Hey, man, use your common sense. And then I got out and I started teaching, and the same thing. And then the kid's like, Mr. Montgomery, you're always talking about this common sense. I said, yep, we got a nickname for you. So what?
What was it? Oh, did we lose him? Oh. Bill, where you at, Bill?
Come
You in
back, Bill.
Star-
Come back.
Are you in Starbucks, Bill? Where you at?
No.
Oh. All right, Bill.
Is
Yeah, there you
Is
go.
it sketchy?
Yeah, there you go. Don't move. Okay, just stand right there, get a hanger, and stand on one leg. Don't move.
Okay, you guys can hear me now?
Yeah, you good.
Okay. Yeah, so, the truth. I heard you guys, talking about the truth.
Yeah.
And, with Hidden Pioneers, we're seeking the truth because we know that it's not being told. And people don't want to hear the truth.
Yeah.
So, and I'm still coming through okay?
Yeah, you good. Yeah, you good. We're listening. Yeah,
okay.
you good.
Okay. Yeah, so, we have some words that we kind of perfected, I guess, through the Lord. He gives you the words. And, one of the words that we have is cool. Just be cool. And then we explain or we share the meaning of cool, okay? Because, some people, they have a different version of cool. Some person might say cool, but they don't really know what it means. They just say it. So our definition of cool is a C is calm, be calm before the storm, or otherwise, listen, be still, be patient. And then the O for cool is optimistic. Now we started with open, and then we went to obedient, and then we settled for optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then the next O is outstanding, because let's face it, we're teaching people to be maybe average, because they may not know what outstanding is, or like Farron says, that can't be me. I'm not outstanding.
Yeah.
So and then the L, one of the greatest words in the Bible, loving, is so we that word cool is something that the Hidden Pioneers, we practice that. We do role plays because we know that if we can get just 50% of this country to say cool and know what it means, oh man, you're gonna change a lot. You're gonna change your culture and image. So and we have some other words too, but the cool kind of goes with everything else. So if the kids are doing something, I think I heard someone say stupid. They're doing something stupid or dumb or whatever. hey, that's not cool. So don't do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we really try and come up with a few words, because there's so many words that are coming down from the walls or coming up from the bottom, and we don't really settle for it. So people say 4 or 5 different things that might mean, what does it mean to you, right? So there's a little bit too many words going on these days.
Right.
So we're trying to simplify it, and I love talking to Farron, because we've been through a lot, and we're not perfect, but when we talk with other people that have like minds, and we sharpen each other, and we can hold each other accountable, or we can say some constructive criticism, whatever, and respect each other.
Yeah.
I know that's where I want to be. I want to be with those kind of people, and then I want to be able to share it.
Yeah.
So,
By all means.
I appreciate
and
you,
I bring
Bill.
a lot of things. Yeah.
Talk about your event. Drop your event before we get out of here.
Yeah. So I'll do that. So we're doing, actually, I'm not sure if I told you, but we were going to do the 28th, but that got actually canceled and postponed. So we're going to fall back. We're going to do something on the 27th. So February 27th, still 2 days left, the end of the Black History Month.
Okay.
At the Downey Space Center. It's Friday from 6 to 8 p.m.
Okay.
Now, that's the good news. No cost to enter, and no cost for parking.
Okay.
It's always great, because when you put a cost to something, you might lose half the population.
I know. I
know. But thank you again for having me on, and great show as always. All the listeners out there, just be cool, stay cool, and listen to these two gentlemen on here because I heard him.
Thank you, Bill.
I heard him speaking it, man. Speaking the truth. Speak the truth, baby.
I appreciate you, Bill, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Hook me up with the Congress, the person who's running too. That
Oh
way
yeah. We got some work to do. He's supporting veterans in his organization, his mental health program,
man.
and so those are the, these are the things I'm we're talking about. Why I didn't get it till and I'm learning not to say this in a way, because I know that we all go through life and we
All have challenges.
we all have challenges, right? And I'm saying that if we can teach this education, these conversations to an 8-year-old, imagine if you don't have to wait till you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s to get this stuff figured out, right? And so that now that we know that, and we know that we can go back and deliver these conversations to which most people don't. We discount the child. Oh, he's 5. He don't know what's going on. No, you better believe that brain is developing and giving meaning to life at 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. And so if we can plant those seeds early and have that child put these messages in that child's heart early, when they grow up, what's going to go back when they reflect on? Oh, that's what they said. That's what not what you told me. This is what I learned about that. And that's to me could be enough seed planting that child could get their hearts situated, and how they get some tools to learn how to listen and think.
That's right.
Those are foundation skills. And so I just believe that that's something that we're able to implement at all ages, but definitely the mind of a child is the word says, who can get into the kingdom? The mind of a child.
That's right.
That is open to wonder.
Yes.
We have a bunch of reasons why and why not as adults, but where do we get a chance to be wonder? And I believe that that's what gets in the way. So I appreciate you, Bill, for tonight, man. Thank you so much, and we will catch up.
Hey, for feet to the moon. Godspeed.
Got you. Thank you. All right. Again, thanks for listening to the Farron Dozier Show. Bill Montgomery. Definitely you can find us, Hidden Pioneers. I got stuff on my social media as well. I'm blessed to be a hidden pioneer with him. Sharing my sickle. I started out sharing my sickle cell trait information because my high school tour and being able to deliver that message to the athletes and the biology classes. But after I've grown and developed, like Bill, I'm more than just sickle cell trait talk, man. There's some things that I discovered that listening to these children, listening to myself and other people, these conversations are missing.
Yeah, the mind of a child is incredible. And as I was listening, talking to you, I'm thinking, they actually absorb more information than we do, and we discount them so much, and it's just not right.
So let's feed them some information, some foundation skills that are going to help them. Look, my grandson's going to deal with his own stuff he's 6 years old. I don't want him dealing with the stuff that I'm dealing with.
Right.
Because he's going to have to carry that, whatever his generation is going to be dealing with. I don't want him talking about the stuff that my grandfather was still, no. And so we can have these conversations. So I thank you for hanging out.
Absolutely. And on that note, I think it's so important to get them at an early age, to give them that mental health training, coaching. So if they are on the spectrum of autism, or if they have ADHD, they're not dropping out when they're 8 years old ending up incarcerated like 60% of men do.
Thank you.
And if I could add my plug
Go ahead.
now, in case I hadn't mentioned, I am running for the state governor's office, and why I'm doing it is that was one of the reasons is we have a mental crisis pandemic in our state. And I feel that if we take care of that, we can solve a lot of things like the overpopulation and homelessness and a lot of other things, materialism and so on. And so I hope you'll look at my webpage, letsgowithjoe.org. And if you like what I stand for, I expect to be on the ballot June 2nd. And
can we get some hand claps? Can we get some applause for my guy just running for office here? What?
Right.
Now, for me, I learned to live from this conversation so I can check myself. A lot of times we sit and we tolerate life, right? We watch it on TV, we watch it on social media, and then we turn it off because it ain't at my front door. So I can tolerate it or whatever.
That's right.
But until it actually happens, to your family. But also sometimes anger is not a bad thing, right? When it's directed to something that you feel like I want to see change in this conversation. Like I'm born for this discussion, and I want to see change, and I'm not tolerating it no more. What was that for you?
Sure.
I know you kind of said a little bit of it, but before that, the confidence, the courage, what was that? Like, where did you get that from?
Oh man, I'm walking by faith, brother. Because you know what? Yeah, some people have said, well, why don't you try for a lesser position?
Of
I'm
course.
thinking, I'm 59 years old, and I love the Psalms, and there's lots of wisdom there, and by virtue of those Proverbs and Psalms, I realize that I may not be as old as somebody else, but I think that I have the ultimate source of wisdom. And I'm reminded of the book of Esther in chapter 4, and she's told, maybe you are in this kingship for such a time as this. And I see all the things going on around the country, to my people, to average citizens, and I'm not happy with what's going on. And there's an old saying that says, evil men triumph when good men do nothing. And so back to the purpose-driven life that we talked about early, maybe this is my purpose, and this is what the Lord wants for me in my life.
You never know. That's what I'm saying. It's like you just never. If we live in and let our minds govern the I'm not good enough, I'm not worth it, whatever your I'm nots are, you have no idea unless you actually take the steps, right? And that's why I pointed to the like I had confidence. I have confidence, but I don't have 100% confidence in myself, right? So I had to then measure, well, how much confidence do I have before I just say I don't have confidence? So even how we talk is important. And so just you looking at life and saying, you know what, I'm going to throw my hat over the fence. I'm going to throw my hat in there, and I'm going to figure it out. And I went to God and I prayed, right? And this is the burden that he's put on my heart. Man, you never know what's possible.
That's right. And even today, as we were talking earlier before you came on the air, I had a little bit of a hiccup today, and I had to throw my hands up and say, Lord, if this is your will, you're going to make it happen. And if not, I'll stay right where you are until you tell me to move. Men make their plans, but God directs their steps.
I'm learning that that's not just a concept. It's something to be used by. We're going to come back. I'm going to play a PSA real quick and come back and get into some of the topics that you stand for. This is the Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Again, streaming at kcaradio.com, the station that leaves no listener behind. We appreciate you for listening in. This is my nonprofit. This is one of my activities of life. Sickle cell trait awareness. It is very important. I collapsed in the military for sickle cell trait exertion with rhabdomyolysis. Rhabdo is its own skeletal muscular issue. And so in that conversation, my muscle myoglobin broke down, got into my bloodstream. All the toxins in the muscles leaked into the bloodstream. Renal failure, so all those toxins can't filter, the kidneys can't filter all those toxins. So I experienced renal failure. And some other health complications. My sickle cell trait gene also mutated, so that was less oxygen getting into the muscles. And so about somewhere around 40% of my red blood cells are sickle cell trait. And the combination of those two that we've seen in the news can be fatal because it can cause cardiac arrest. And so people have died from sickle cell trait exertion with rhabdomyolysis in the military playing sports. And so I experienced that, and God allowed me to come through that and realizing that in my mother's womb I was given that sickle cell trait gene passed down through my generations of my ancestors, and so I was born for that conversation. So when I was able to see it from that perspective and versus life is over, he showed me that you wasn't going to get out of the military, so this is what I had to put you on this path to deliver this conversation. So I found it in the Bible, Judges chapter 4, Deborah and Barak, the war in Sisera. He showed me that as my blueprint. So I'm like, all right, God, I got it. So if you're not aware, it is an inherited gene, combats malaria in Africa. That's why African Americans are number 1. The Latin community is number 2. right? So the Hispanics, Latin community is number 2 with sickle cell trait and sickle cell. And so, again, just a very important topic. This is one of the public service announcements that I have, and then we'll come back. Shout us out, what's the count? Do you remember studying sickle cell in biology class? What's the Count on sickle cell trait prevention is here to bring you awareness, education, and prevention conversations around the risk factors of this inherited gene. Visit wdconsct.org. Hey, I'm Sergeant First Class Farron Dozier. I'm here at the military base, and I have the sickle cell trait. Now, why I got involved is I experienced what they call sickle cell trait exertion. And I was doing the Army physical fitness test, the 2-mile run, and when I got done, I collapsed. A lot of soldiers and athletes have been dying at football fields and running track, and the family members have no idea that they have the sickle cell trait gene or that it's a trigger. So my purpose is to mobilize the community so we can find out what's in your genes. How will life be if we could prevent another child from being born with sickle cell trait or disease? And if a child was born with the trait or disease, that the family members would have the education, awareness, and resources in every city that they lived in. So tune into our webinar series and find out what's the count.
What's the count? What's the count? What's the count?
Yeah. They say I'm confrontational. I want peace, just not at the cost of my silence. Speak up. Through the hood, I keep hearing people saying I'm supposed to die tonight. They can't destroy what they ain't built in the first place. So I'm finna ride tonight. I went from a truth seeker to truth speaker. Truth through the booth, your Bluetooth and your coupe speakers. Run up in here, I cut an ear, I'm 2 Peter. I bucket fear, I chuck a spear like Lou Peter. They love it here, I hate it here. They murder babies and pervert the children and make it here. It's getting crazy, everybody claiming they gangster here. And everybody feel it, but nobody is saying here. This card over money, so I say what I want, dog. Your favorite rapper don't need too afraid to be broke, dog. You lose your career pissing in folk off. But you can call black women hoes and kill all the black men that you want, dog. And I don't care if you hate that, I could take that. But stop claiming you real, knowing you hate facts. Sad thing is how fast you could diss a black queen and turn around and walk on eggshells for a drag queen. Bizzle, this what you wanted? I never came for the smoke, but if you gotta go down, then let's get it poppin'. And see, that really ain't what I want. If you gotta go down, then let's get it poppin'. You can't muzzle me, dog.
All right, welcome back to the Farron Dozier Show on KCA Radio 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. You know, I had a Christian hip hop talk show. It just ended last year. I missed that. I really missed that. So I'm trying to figure out how I can implement that without having another show to do, but maybe make it a segment. Cause I don't need I got 2.5 shows right now. I had 5 at one point, and I haven't look. I have enough shows in my on paper that I could be on the radio like Big Boy, like 991, like 4 hours a day. I could be on 5 days a week easy, but I have the knowledge, but I want to use it for God's work. Right? So I don't want to work for anybody. I want to be able to just deliver those messages in that way. Unless he leads me at some point to be on the radio at that aspect, but I do miss my Christian hip hop talk show.
Absolutely. I was thinking as we ended for the break, this I know that until God says, come up here,
yeah,
you're not going.
right, exactly.
Right.
Definitely. And I appreciate you for coming in and being on the show. Let's get into
pleasure.
some of the topics that you have.
Sure.
You know, one of the biggest things we talk about is veterans, right? And I appreciate you for standing in the gap for my veteran community. We know that 1 every 65 minutes a veteran completes their life. We know it's more than that, but we know that statistics say, some say 22 a day. I've heard it right now is 1 every 65 minutes.
Right.
A veteran brother or sister of mine completes their life. And I was in that space. I know what it feels like. I know what it tastes like. I know I had a plan. I had everything. I had my favorite car. I knew, like, I was in that space. I knew I had mental toughness
Right.
because I played basketball. I was an athlete, so I knew like I had that mental toughness, but this was weird.
Right.
And then I started holding on to my youngest daughter, Deja. Like, okay, I can't do that. I can't take my life. I can't. I can't do that to her.
Right.
So I knew something was going on. From your perspective, what even got you into the mental health arena out of all the jobs and
Sure.
conversations?
Well, pure luck. My wife's a psychologist,
Oh.
and so she was working in the industry, and wasn't really happy with where she was at in that space. She worked for the prison system, so
Oh, yeah, okay.
institutional, commercial, Kaiser, and some of the others, and a lot of restrictions for her.
For sure.
And as you may know, the California correctional system is the largest mental health clinic in the state, which is sad. And so, as we said earlier, how nice would it be if we had mental programs that got the kids, when they were younger
Right.
and saw them through school, but young men as they're going into the military, but more importantly, as they're coming out, we know that PTSD is rampant, and we don't have to look just at the veterans to know that. There are women that go through certain experiences in life,
Of course.
and they develop a parallel.
It's a human being flaw for me.
That's right.
It's a flaw that we all have something that we're dealing with. We say suffer in silence, but it's not just men; it's women, and of course, like you said, so something to definitely look at.
No, absolutely. And again, as we said previously, we can rewire our minds. But meanwhile, when you looked at that thing and you realize what you did, there's something that clicks upstairs, and
Yeah.
it is hard to get out of. So certainly, there are persons that require just a little bit of help, like we
Yes.
all do from time to time, a little bit of a challenge. Then there are other people that are more along the manic realm.
Yeah,
And
there is a
sometimes
real
they-
chemical imbalance for folks
That's right.
too. There is real,
and so at that
real
point,
yeah.
right, they would need the medication
Right.
and so on and so forth. But meanwhile, for us, just looking at them as humans, I'm going to brag a little bit, but I ran into a man near my home, and this is before I was married. I rented rooms, just because I had a decent sized house,
Yeah.
just me and the dog, so I had a room. But I found a man, and his name's Ron, veteran, and he's on the street. And I said, well, you need a place to stay. And
Wow.
he took my hand, and I was like, cool,
Wow.
okay, we're making progress, right? And so I let him stay with us, and I said, you know what, you help me out around here, do this, do that, a couple
Yeah.
of things, and you have a place to stay for as long as you'd like. And sadly, by that time he was involved with drugs and so on.
for sure.
And so he moved on. I was glad that somebody else was helping him when
Yeah,
he did.
yeah.
They gave him a motorcycle. Hopefully, he got his life
Wow.
straight. But that doesn't mean I stopped caring for Ron, and that doesn't mean that I stopped praying for Ron.
sure, for
To this
sure.
day, obviously, he's in my heart. And
For sure.
I think we need to do more of that, and just be human, really.
And in your choice to run for office, how does these conversations carry over into your campaign and the things that you're going to be addressing in the community for people to?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Today it takes, in some places, 2 months to get an appointment or recurring appointment for mental health. We were born out of COVID. We were talking about earlier how I got into mental health. We were born out of COVID, so we went from 0 clients to like 700 clients overnight, which is crazy. And so we saw all these things. People couldn't get services.
Right.
And to this day, unfortunately, the State Psychology Board requires 3 months If you throw in the credentialing for a new provider,
Yeah.
we're talking about 6 months to bring them on board, 3 months if they're a psychological student. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we should get these people in a lot faster and provide as many people as we can with the services they require, particularly vets. During COVID, what we did, and again, this is not toot our own horns, but we would put veterans to the front of the line if there's a waiting line,
yeah, for
just
sure.
to make sure that they got services. And unfortunately, a lot of the payers, insurance companies, don't pay providers a lot of money.
Right, exactly.
And while money's not everything in life, in order to continue to help folks, well, you have to stay
gotta
in
have-
business.
yeah.
And so we don't do this, but I can see where other providers would rather, take the Aetna, I don't want to do it commercial.
Yeah.
Another insurer
Yeah, you can.
instead of the veterans
Of course. And that's
insurance
another, that's
or
another
money.
issue.
And so that is another issue. And so that's a conversation that the insurance commissioner and governor, when they get into office, need to have and say, hey, how do we fix this problem? Absolutely not enough funds for
And see,
mental
this
health,
this
too.
is why I'm excited, being introduced to you, and these are the conversations you want to bring to the state, right? Because this is at the core of all of it.
It is.
Yeah, we look at veterans as an avenue, but as I said, athletes have the same issue. Police officers' suicide is just as almost as high as athletes and veterans because of the uniform, right? And so, but when you go back again to the growing up in our environment and the sense of belonging and the I'm nots, and we use this word resilient. I like perseverance. I learned that it's human beings, we don't really bounce back. We think we bounce back,
Very hard.
but it's hard to bounce back. And so, but we wear that resilience badge, but we're still suffering, right? And so I really believe that if you're willing to have those heart, that's what the people want to hear.
That's right.
Like, it's like the scripture. I know I'm a sinner, but how do I survive today, man? Like, how do I make it through? What can God do for me today?
Right.
I know I'm a sinner, right? And so I believe that people at the point of social media post-COVID, like, they're ready to, like, okay, how do I just experience happiness and even joy within myself first?
Right.
And I believe that that's the conversation that you're going to be bringing to the table at that level, and that could be the difference in if people listen to you. It's different than the fluff.
Right. And the other part is economics, of course. I'm going to go off the rails here and quote Louis Farrakhan. He said, politics without economics is like symbol without substance, right?
Yeah.
It takes money
Yeah, of course.
to get things done.
Right.
And so obviously, the state has to do a better job of managing their resources. Today, they call it a bloated bureaucratic system, right? I was at a function with the treasurer, actually, a current treasurer who's actually running for office, different office, but she boasted about managing $2 trillion, and I said, "Geez, there's only 80 billion people on the whole planet. That's enough money for all of them.
Come
and
on.
some left over. How is it we can't get our roads fixed? We can't get the health care that we need. I drive the same roads as folks. I go to the market just like they do, and I see the expensive price tag on everything.
Come on.
And certainly I have health care.
And you're managing
thankfully.
you imagining $2 trillion. That could just set everything straight on the path.
Right. Right. It just doesn't work when you throw money at it.
Yeah, no. And again, that's again the financial state of it all. I even with financial literacy, I keep hearing that conversation, right? Even in my transformation of who I was before, I had to get a new relationship to money. Like we all have a relationship to money.
Something
but
we
you
were never
gotta
taught.
exactly. So how do I view money is going to be more just as important as you giving me the money to manage my life with if I'm using it in a destructive manner.
That's right.
So
And that's part of
the
it.
heart that at the heart of us is
Look,
the healing.
it doesn't take a genius
No,
to
that's what
understand that, or an asset pricing model to understand that you don't take in $1 to your household and spend $3. A kindergarten can tell you that, and that's what
Yeah.
we've been doing for a lot of years. I recently heard a quote that CalPERS, the pension plan, can only pay 80% of their pensioners out without going out into the money markets, which I think, how do you get to that point, you know? Anyway,
Yeah.
absolutely. Mismanagement, being fiscally responsible, and giving that money the respect that it deserves.
Looking back, not based off your opinion, but just looking back and looking at the who's running with you and for that position, what has you, keeping your foot on the gas?
Yeah. Yeah, I look around and I'm not impressed. I'm sorry. Maybe that's cocky of me.
No, not at all.
I have someone that's going with me, first of all.
Yeah.
But secondly, I think people are tired
That's
of
what I'm
the
saying.
typical politician, the oligarchs and the special interests guys running. I think they're looking for someone that could bring the D's and the P's, as I call them,
Yeah.
together and get some things done.
With your business with mental health, are you looking for people to come and work for you? Let's drop that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I'm going to offer your listeners, if anybody's listening out there that needs services, at the moment we're going to make 5 spots available and put vets, if preferably, but
Yeah.
whomever comes first, I guess. And also we're looking to hire an additional psychologist. Again, preferably, we can't discriminate, obviously, that
Yeah.
is in this space of loving to help vets. At our place, we love to say we care and we meet clients where they are.
Yes,
And nobody's
I
a patient
appreciate
at our
that.
place. They're
Yeah.
clients. Everybody they're not sick. They all just need a little help from time to time.
I appreciate that. That's one of my terms that I use as I've been in my journey, my own healing journey, is in return is meeting people where they are.
Absolutely.
Like, again, I know I'm dealing with stuff, but I believe that we all fear some level of judgment, right, because of the labeling. But then slander also is kind of hurtful. I think more hurtful than anything if I tell you my deepest secrets.
Absolutely.
And then you use that against me later, like, that's not going to work. So how do we create that space? And I believe if you just meet people where they are, they're going to tell you what they need. When we talk through our curriculum, I learned from my own self as an example, my daughters they were telling me what they needed. But I was so worried about what happened to me to protect them, what I thought they needed protection from. But that created a space of rebellion. And as parents, do we listen to our children? I don't think we really listen to our children because we grew up in those environments where it's a one way. I'm the parent, you're the child, but that child needs to be heard. And now we're dealing with those childhood fractures as adults, expressing ourselves, dealing with life, and then here we have it, and then we label it mental health.
And it goes beyond that. It's a national pandemic, this division. Can I read something to you?
Yeah, read it.
Great. It's a little bit lengthy, but here it goes.
Okay.
It says, "You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk, I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, with a certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air I rise. Out of the huts of history, shame I rise. Up from the past that rooted in pain, I rise. I am black ocean leaping and wide. Welling, swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into the daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestor gave. I am the dreams and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. I think this was a great example of how Miss Angelou brought the country together.
Yeah.
Whether you like, it was an inaugural speech,
No,
Mr. Clinton, but I
thank
love
you.
her. And there was another quote that I'm going to end with here, and nobody knows who it's attributed to: Plato, Socrates, Seneca, some says Helen Keller. But it says, every king springs from a race of slaves, and every slave has had kings among his ancestors. And I love that because it tells us that we're all on the same level.
Thank you for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it.
sir.
He'll be
I
back, ladies and
appreciate
gentlemen. The Farron Dozier Show on KC Radio. Check us out right here on
Let's
Tuesdays at
go
6
with
p.m.
Joe.org.
All right, we're out of here.
Miss your favorite show? Download the podcast at KCAA